Well, Richard, I cannot believe we are about to talk about Christmas, of all things. QVT! You need to move home now, or you'll not be in before Christmas.
People are going to think we're off their heads talking about Christmas, but it's all
Honestly,
relevant in this kind
I
of situation.
cannot believe we are about to talk about right now about the deadline, or you might miss your home move-in for Christmas.
Yeah.
You talk about sweets and buy this sweet now and you get your bed now and it'll get delivered before Christmas. Well, you'll need to get your house on the market pretty soon, or you'll not be in your next house before Christmas if that's the case.
And a lot of people think like, and that's kind of the mindset of people. It's like, let's get in as long as we're in and settled for Christmas. Well, and a lot of people do think like that. And if that's your kind of thought process, and that's how you would like to be in and settled by Christmas, you better start thinking now.
This is why, this show is so important for people like that. A lot of people, and I'll guarantee you, everyone out there tuning in right now and listening in will be thinking to themselves, aye, I could be in home by the start of the new term for school.
No
Possibly
chance.
not.
You need a
You'll
really
maybe
good
just make it
conveyancing
in time
team.
for Christmas.
Yeah, you really need a really efficient conveyancing team and a quick sale to do that.
So, can I talk about the actual the deadline apparently
Yeah.
for Fife Homeowners? If you miss the 17th of July deadline, you might miss Christmas in your new home.
And that's 17th of July is just around the corner.
When you think about it, look, July, August, September, October, November, 17th of December. Yes, 6 months.
Yeah. Hmm.
That's perfectly logical, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 months, and you're at Christmas already. I hate to keep saying this.
I
Christmas,
know.
Christmas, 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 Christmas.
Everybody will be tuning out as soon as they hear us talking about
It's like I'll be getting pelts on social media for mentioning Christmas already. I'll beat the supermarkets to
it.
it. Usually get we're just past Easter. What have we got to come still? We've got Halloween to come.
Yeah.
What else have we got to come? We've got something else. We've got summer, and we've not even got summer yet, and I'm talking about
Yeah.
Christmas already. I mean, uh, as May comes into view, which is today,
Yeah.
1st of May. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I think you're supposed to go up on the top of a tower and sing out loud or something like that. With anticipation of the warm summer months ahead, with the summer-drenched, hot beaches and cold ice cream, ice cold ice cream, the thoughts and contemplations of Christmas seem a million miles away.
Yeah, they do.
Yet many people who wish to move would like to be settled in time and ready for the Christmas festivities. Put my teeth back in.
Festivities.
If this is you, then listen up, definitely, as you might be
Yeah.
surprised what I'm about to tell you. And I think I've given the game away already. Five home buyers and sellers dreaming of celebrating Christmas 2024 in their new home. The time to act is actually running out. And I really mean that. The property landscape has evolved significantly over the past few years, reflecting changes in buyer behaviour and the intricacies of the transactional process itself. Recent statistics, now this is statistics, this is facts we're looking
Yeah.
at here, from UK property market reveal that some thought-provoking trends overall. So here's what we're talking about. From April 2023 to 2024, April, UK properties took on average 69 days from listing the home for sale to an agent to agree a sale, with subsequent 112 days to complete. That's completion when the keys and the monies are exchanged hands. That's a
Handover,
total
yeah.
of 181 days. That's 6 months. This is a shift from the previous year of April 2022 to April 2023, where it took 47 days to secure a buyer and 124 days from agreement to completion. But that means if you placed your property on the market in the first week of May, looking at the average amount of time to complete, you will be moving in the first or second week of November. Now, let me just reiterate, this is a UK thing we're talking about now,
Yeah.
but we're actually going to talk about Scotland right now. Although in Scotland, the procedure is much quicker than the rest of the UK, local trends are similar to national figures, but with its unique nuances.
Yeah.
So between April 2022 and April 2023, it typically took 31 days to find a buyer and 80 days for the legal completion in Fife. However, in the past 12 months, it's seen the lengthening of the initial part of the selling process. Now takes 42 days to find a buyer. The span of the sale, the span from the sale of agreement to completion has decreased, albeit slightly, to 79 days. Now, remember, that's in the past 12 months, it now takes 42 days. But if we look at statistics overall, when you're looking at about 500 sales every single month, and it was 42 before, and then you're looking at about 1,000 properties on the market for sale throughout Fife, you've effectively got 2 months worth of stock sitting there.
Yeah.
So the average potentially now, Richard, going on from here, is about 2 months to sell your property.
Yeah. We were just kind of working this out a wee bit. We were discussing this a wee bit more off camera before we come on here to kind of, because we were breaking it down and you were doing the numbers, Jim, to try and work that out, because we weren't quite sure if it was that. And you're right, it's about 2 months.
Yeah, because this threw me. Because this was a lot less, but now it is actually about 2 months going on from, because it's actual fact. You can't deny it. Anybody that's out there could go straight on to Rightmove and look up the number of properties for sale in Fife, or Zoopla and look up the number of properties for sale in Fife. And in actual fact, I'll quickly jump on it now, and I'll share the screen. Let me just look on Zoopla. See if I can get this up, Richard. Here we go, and we'll share the screen. Here we go. Okay. Zoopla, right in front of us. Now, if we take that and just zoom down there and type in Fife, oh, that's the wrong spell, and hit the search button, look, 1,024 results.
Yeah.
Just shows you 1,024 results, and as you scroll through there, overall, you'll see the 1,024. Now, if we take then, and I'll take that off the screen, and we take, for example, what we sold last month, or what everybody sold last month. Let me just get that on the screen, and I'll just see if I can find it. I know it. I was looking at the file this morning for this. Now, if we're looking at March, we're probably looking at the first week in April to see that number. So first week in April, probably around about the 7th. Here we go. And we'll get that one up for the month of March. And that'll give you a good indication about where things are right now in terms of March. Let me just share that screen. We'll stop sharing that. We'll share this one, and I will let you see what March says. And this gives you a good, strong indicator. So this is March. See there how it says 531 sold. Yep. So literally 590 versus 531. So 531 divided by 1024 divided by 531 equals 1.92, and then multiply that, okay, by the, well, 1.92 it's 2 months effectively, because you can multiply that, you can multiply it by 365 and all the rest and divide by it. So but it's literally 2 months. But interestingly enough, when you look at these stats here and you drill down, say for example, you're looking at let's say for example we're looking at East Nuke. Now East Nuke on average, you're talking about 30 sold, isn't you? You've got 26 there and you've got 34 listed, but we'll call it 30 sold, even Stevens. Now East Nuke is KY9 and KY10. So if we take the East Nuke area and just jump back onto
Zoopla.
Yeah, Zoopla. And then it'll give you a real good idea here on Zoopla. Is that us got it on here? Yep. So we could look at KY10. So KY10 has 53 See, it's there
Yeah.
for sale. Oh, that's a good property. Oh, that's ours. So 53 was said there. KY9
KY9.
is 11. So 53 and 9. So
So
53 plus 9.
64.
I know it's 62. So basically, it's 62. So we've got 62, and we're saying 30 every month is selling. Therefore,
Did you not say 53 and 11? Sorry.
Yeah, 53 and 11. Yeah, I stand
64.
corrected. Divided by
64.
30. Literally just over 2 months.
Yeah.
So again, East Nuke is similar in the fact that it's just over 2 months for East Nuke area as well. If you take that one step even further and you drill down into, let's drill down into KY16, which is the St Andrews area.
Yeah.
So we'll do KY16, which is St Andrews postcode, because this is how everything's done in the numbers. So we've got KY16, 127 in there for the St Andrews area on Zoopla. So 127 properties available. And then we jump back to our screen of the number of properties we've got here overall and the tab. Let me just get that open again as we stand. I'll bring that one down and open that one up. See, it shows you it's live. So 127. So St Andrews, 35.
35.
See that?
Yeah.
So 127 divided by 35. Literally says 3.5 months to sell a property in St Andrews. Shows you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's quickly look at Dunfermline for the people in Dunfermline, just to show you the west side. So 215. We'll take that as an average. We'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Probably about maybe 240 on average. Just say. So 240 on average in Dunfermline. Okay. So we'll take that off. We'll put Zoopla back on. So Dunfermline area 230. We'll share that. We'll look up Dunfermline. Here we go. Back on here. And we'll look at KY12. Dunfermline's KY12 and KY11 in terms of the numbers. So 124.
Yep.
And then KY11 is 94.
So
Now, how many did we say? 230?
218, and then that would be 240, you said, for argument's sake.
Yeah, okay. So Dunfermline's only got 1 month stock.
Yeah, 0.9, yeah.
Yeah, Dunfermline's doing very well then, isn't it?
Yeah.
But remember, there's a lot of new build coming into Dunfermline as well, so the market's getting quite saturated in the Dunfermline area. So it shows you right across the board how that works in terms of the number of properties available for sale versus the number of properties actually getting sold every single month on average in each area, in each micro region. So each micro region has its own nuances in terms of the number of months to sell, but there's an average there, and that's why I said the average overall is about 2 months. Because you'll have the other end of the scale where 3.5 months for there, but you've got Dunfermline balancing it out. So that's weird. The extreme east coast is long. The extreme west coast is short, and it's like opposite ends of the spectrum, isn't it? And then in the middle, you've got the central Fife, and it's almost like it's almost like a chart from start to finish, where it's you go along the west, and then it goes up the length of days to sell up to the east itself. So it's quite interesting, and anybody can do that themselves by finding this information every single month. But it does tell us it's going to take a lot longer to sell. If you're taking 2 months on average now, and it's saying it's taken, for example, the 79 days, so you're talking about 60 plus 79 is 139 days. Divide that by 30 just for sake. You're just under 5 months. So that's why we say July to August to September to October, November, and December. You're into December with the 5 months when you do that. So that's why it's important. If you're definitely wanting to be in by Christmas and you're definitely wanting to make sure you're all settled, then you're probably needing to go now if you think your house is going to take a wee bit longer. And I'll be honest, see if I was given a penny for every single time that somebody said to me, "Oh, my house is going to go quick," I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah, I know.
Again. And literally.
Yeah, I know. And you know, the good thing about these midweek shows that we do, Jim, and it's really all about the stats and the figures and how the trends affect how the people in the market are affected, and people's perception of what it's going to be is not always correct. And I think these numbers and how we just broke it down there from area really paint a clear picture. So selling a home and settling into a new one is not going to be as swift as maybe people might think or people might hope. And given that the timelines that we've just went through, homeowners looking to move and be settled before Christmas should really ideally be putting their property and their homes on the market early to mid-July at the latest.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This allows ample time for I suppose, for the selling process and from attracting the right buyer to navigating the legal interests with the solicitor itself. Because there's still these things. I mean, when you look at the old traditional Victorian properties and way beyond that, way before that, you sometimes have title issues with these properties because a lot of that stuff isn't registered properly with the Register of Scotland in Edinburgh. And it's not online, therefore it has to still go back to the old. And I literally mean the quill and ink, because that's how they were all written out in the first place. All these deeds, when they were first written out, in terms of the titles and what was your burdens. In other words, what did you have to comply with in order to be an owner of this property? By burdens, we mean, if you're an upstairs and downstairs flat and that's all you've got, then you'll share 50% of the roof more than likely in terms of repairs with the person downstairs or upstairs, depending on what one you've got. The gable ends as well. If you're in a block of 8, for example, you would share more than likely with a block of 4 on your end, and the block of 4 will share the other end. If that's the case, that's kind of how they do it. And same with entrances at either side. If you've got mutual entrances at either side of that block with the 8 in the block, then you'll each take responsibility. 4 will take responsibility for this side, 4 will take responsibility for that side. And that's what we mean by the burdens on so it's something like just if you have a burden on your back or whatever it is.
Like you'd be amazed, obviously, we've been involved in lettings and property management and things, the people that don't understand that their responsibilities or don't want to take responsibility when it comes to joint repairs and things. But anyway, that's another story.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's another show completely, isn't it?
So
this basically ensures, by watching this and actually taking heed of the advice. Listen, you don't need to do anything about it if you don't think your house is gonna. If you think your house is going to sell and fly off the shelf straight away, that's fine. Don't just ignore us. Just don't say anything. Don't listen to this at all if that's the case. But I tell you what if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't happen according to plan? And that can happen to people. So it ensures you've taken time to make your home yours before you actually put up your Christmas tree and decorations in your new living room comfortably before Christmas. Can't believe we're talking about Christmas and me.
I know.
So this means then, let me just reiterate, if you want to move into your new home by Friday, the 15th of November, in time for that joyous period coming up, you'll need to put your home on the market before the 17th of July. And that coincides with the average time it's taken.
Yeah, and that's like we're saying, that is assuming that you hit the average timescales that we've obviously just spoke about for that are obviously the average for Fife. But then people will be like, well, why the urgency? So that's what people are going to be thinking, like, well, why the urgency? And the current market conditions do suggest a slight slower pace in curing buyers and things as well, which can be attributed to various factors. And that's including things like economic uncertainties, changes in mortgage rates, which we've seen a lot of recently.
Oh boy, that's coming, isn't it?
and a more discerning buyers pool as well. So the national reduced timescale for agreements to complete for completion, however, that indicates that once a buyer is secured, the process is becoming more streamlined, and that's a positive sign for sellers as well.
You've hit the nail on the head, Richard, when you talked about economic uncertainties, and that's definitely what's happening right now. I mean, Santander and NatWest and the Nationwide all announced their 5-year fixed rate deals are actually going up as of today or yesterday.
I didn't hear that, so that's
because now they believe, and we've said this all the time, haven't they? They now believe it's towards the latter end of the year when interest rates will actually reduce. Tell me something I didn't, Ken. I just think we should be in charge, to be honest. We could just clear everybody out of these think tanks. Let them do something else, and we'll just tell them how the economy is going to go. I mean, that's the reality. I definitely think that's where we are. I think base rates are here to stay where they are right now. I don't think inflation is going to be curbed anytime soon. I was actually getting spoken about today. I was getting, somebody talking to me about it today about how electricity prices are interlinked with gas prices. So that's why the only way electricity prices will come down is if the interlink if the locking mechanism it ties the two of them together, and the pricing strategy is actually separate. So that's why, regardless of it could be cheaper to produce electricity, it's still at an astronomical high price because it's locked into the same
tied to the gas,
indices. Yeah, same
Right.
indices as gas, because I think it's all under one utilities banner. I don't know if anybody who's got any insight into that is listening in. Could maybe actually explain a bit more, but I think that's what it is. They just class it as utilities or energy costs, and
rather than gas
one.
and electric, which
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I would have thought would have been done separately. So that's quite interesting.
So interest rates and base rates will not come down anytime soon dramatically at any shape or form, unless there's something on the economic horizon we know nothing about. It's yet to hit, but I can't actually see any evidence of that being the case. So that means then well, actually, yesterday, I was doing my Zoopla update last night,
Yeah,
and I
seen
was
that.
reading through the Zoopla update, and it's amazing to think that the mortgage costs from 2021 to 2024 have actually gone up by over 60% in most areas.
That's
Mortgage
crazy.
costs in most areas, yeah. The annual mortgage costs have gone up by 60% in most areas from 2021 to 2024. No wonder people can't afford high value properties anymore. No wonder your market is declining at the top end of the market,
Yeah.
because then clearly people are having to spend 62% more than they have before just to maintain the current mortgage they've got right now. Now,
Yeah.
they're either going to have to downsize or get a remortgage another deal, which is unlikely now, considering all the prices are everything's factored in about what's in the coming market to come.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So therefore, they're going to have to find the money for somewhere else or downsize. And I mean, somewhere else it's going to come from, luxuries like
Yeah. We're going to have to cut back, or
you're not having that holiday abroad now. You're going to Pitlochry. that's it. Now,
Why did they not
don't get me wrong.
It's expensive,
I
to be
love
honest.
I love Pitlochry, but I'd rather be sitting on a beach
Yeah.
in some exotic location, and that costs a wee bit more money. And that might be the things that go by the wayside due to the fact that mortgage costs have gone up by 62% or more than 60% in most areas. And that's the only places that hasn't gone up that much is probably London, which is 48%. But it still represents in London, the average mortgage costs in London for a year is £23,000.
Jeez, oh.
Yeah, there's my salary gone.
Yeah, I know.
So how am I going to eat? How am I going to pay for my utilities? How am I going to, how am I going to pay my council tax? How am I going to clothe myself? How am I going to look after my children? Hello.
I seen a thing on social media, and I didn't really tend to take that great, obviously read that great into some of the posts that I see, but I did read it, and it was a breakdown of these kind of costs and things, and I thought, there's a bit of truth in that. Obviously, I mean, some things you read online and social media is a bit, I just kind of skip past, but yeah, and it was resonating with that, and the costs, and that's what it come down to. How are people going to, when you factor in all these costs, how they're going to eat, how they're going to fuel their cars to travel to their work, and all these things on top of that, and generally the cost of living.
Yeah, so the moving from the 2% and the mortgage rates in 2021 to the 4.5% today, the annual mortgage repayments for a particular home, actually, as I said, has gone up by 61% from 7,100 to 11,400 at a national level. That is 2/3 of this increase. So 2/3 of this increase is due to the higher mortgage rates. However, 1/3 is down to the fact that average house prices have moved up as well in that period. So average house prices have moved up, therefore that increase in the average mortgage is actually 1/3 to do with average house prices moving up, but 2/3 to do with the actual interest rates moving up as well. So it's quite interesting. Anybody that wants to tune into that Zoopla, it's on our it's a couple of posts back on this one.
That's just
You'll get a
last
good
night.
insight into that. I did that last night. Okay, so what is the next sort of things we've got to think about then, Richard? Where are we with this overall?
Yeah, so we've got to that point, and the obviously, like we're saying about what was the urgency and things, and all the factors that would you'd have to take into consideration really if you wanted to be in by Christmas. But prospective Fife sellers should also consider the advantages of the current property market as well.
Yeah.
With the extended time to attract buyers, presenting your property as the best at its best has never been more crucial, and it means addressing any maintenance issues, also considering upgrades that increase your property's appeal. That goes hand in hand with staging a property, so your property is captured in people's imagination and things as well. The potential buyer could see themselves living there, and effective marketing through an experienced estate agent can really significantly enhance the visibility and the attraction and the attraction to the quality of your property and what it has to offer. That's so important in your listing process as well.
I think you've probably hit the nail on the head about having an experienced estate agent, but I think it's more knowledgeable as well.
Yeah.
And earlier on in the process, I would say, to provide the crucial guidance about what you need to do next. They could probably help you navigate the complexities of the Fife market itself, and advise on realistic price. And I was talking to somebody about this today. You know, the fact that what a realistic pricing and why you should be doing that, and where's offers over just now? Is it home report value? Is it under home report value? Is it over home report value? And in their particular area, and what sort of price point, and what should they be expecting at the end of this? And this is all about managing the sale to avoid common pitfalls, which could actually delay the proceedings overall.
Yeah.
So what do we do for people contemplating that move then?
So, I mean, for people that are contemplating that move, the message is quite clear, and it's act sooner rather than later. And it's really prudent to do that. And the market's current pace means that starting the process maybe in the next couple of weeks is really essential to ensure that you're settled in your new home for that festive season. And it might seem like a long way away, but we've just demonstrated there the time to get on the market, the time to find a buyer, the time for conveyance and completion. It does take you right up to, like we say, the weeks into November.
I think a lot of people, including myself, before I knew what I know now, get complacent about their house itself.
Yeah.
And we do all like to convince ourselves that everybody's going to want our house. There's no doubt about that, me included. You know, everybody wants to do that. Nobody wants to say, I live in a horrible house. My house is shit. You know, it's like, nobody wants to say that, oh, my house is horrible. It's like, nobody would want to buy this. I've never walked in the door and sold somebody's house and they've ever said that to me. Every single person, more or less, as I said before, says, but my house is fantastic. Everybody's going to want it. Well, everybody's going to want not what you see now in your property, but what you saw in your property originally. Because that's more than likely the buyer that's going to buy your property is you when you first bought it. Because that's exactly the same reasons they'll buy it for. So if you've been living in your property for the last 15 years because it was the perfect family home, guess who's more than likely to buy your home? It's not going to be a downsizer. It's more than likely going to be somebody looking for the perfect family home.
Yeah, to start that family home that you've just the family home that you've just had for the last 15 to 20 years, possibly.
Yeah, they see the same thing as you saw. So it isn't really just about moving house. It's about moving home.
Yeah.
You know, we provide the house and you make it a home. That's effectively what happens. So it's all about ensuring by the time December frost dust the streets of Fife. December, usually March. Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to say it's not always December anymore. It's a wee bit further
always
on.
December. It's usually March or April. Actually, just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And you're warm and settled in the comforting scent of mulled wine wafting through your home. I think most people will think this is a rerun from Christmas.
I know. I know. It is actually the 1st of May today.
Yeah, 1st of May today, folks. So what do you think we should be? What do you think we should be thinking about for the Fife property market overall? What's your thoughts on this? What should we be looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, the Fife property market will present challenges, and through thorough preparation and timely action can really pave the way for a smooth transaction and into your new home, and well, obviously before Christmas and in time for you to be settled. But remember, the perfect moment to put your property on the market for sale in order to achieve that is now. So let's make your festive dreams true and a reality, because a lot of people, and we hear it time and time again, I want to be in and settled for Christmas. If you want to do that, obviously we are demonstrating now why you should do that. If you want to speak to us and have a wee chat about how to do that and get things in place, then by all means do that. Decisive steps forward towards your new beginnings is the best, obviously, course of action. And we are happy to obviously give you any advice and tips over and above what we spoke about today on a one-to-one basis. And kind of like you said, Jim, it's so important to get the right information right at the beginning when you need it and have that proper strategy in place.
It's quite a good one. Actually, I'm just about to post here. I'm posting the Zoopla property market update for last night that I did. I think it's important to watch this after hand in hand with what we're talking about just now in these comments. So it's in the comments right now, the Zoopla property market update for the whole of the UK, but actually a zone in and a home in on Fife as well overall. And then I do talk about the things that we've talked about in here, plus I actually give an insight into where the market's going right now. So you're absolutely right. Decisive step towards taking your first step into your home, and that's it. Thanks for coming on, Richard. I appreciate your time, and everybody else. And if you want to ask questions later on, please feel free to do that. But check out the Zoopla report on this post in the comments. It is one of the most informative things that you'll ever have in terms of where the property market is going right now, especially if you're a seller. And more importantly, if you're a buyer, you don't know how much you should be offering for a property that's coming on the market right now. That's probably the show you need to watch that I did last night, and it's in the comments. Until next time, guys, we're for Fife Properties TV. Bye-bye for now.
See you later.